is module 3 of the Unearthing Your Brilliance lessons. And if you go to the main document here, I've linked the module right into this link. So opening that up, you'll see that this lesson is about curiosity and your voice. So instead of trying to just tell kids that they need to learn how to write, the method we'd like to use is to convince them that writing is one really helpful method to communication. So we want to get into that this following way. We start with just talking about communication. And so I ask kids to imagine that their mind has thoughts, opinions, ideas, and emotions. And I'd have them list some thoughts or opinions that they've had recently. And this can be something significant and political and heated, or it can be something as simple as that they think Kit Kats are the best candy on the planet. It doesn't matter. It can be anything. So we want to get them to put down their thoughts or opinions into these 3 boxes. We then want them to think of any ideas they've had. Again, it could be something really big, like they've had an idea for a poem they want to write, or something like that. But could also be something just really small, like they had an idea that they want to try to build Legos. It could be anything small or anything big. And then same for emotions. I think it's really important, and a lot of data shows that putting your emotion down on paper is a way to start to let it go. And so having kids just list their emotions here would be really helpful. Then you move into the communication of the why. So as human beings, we need to share these thoughts, ideas, opinions, emotions. And nothing better than COVID taught us the significance of needing to share those things. So here what you'd talk about with students is, why do we need to share them? Why not just keep all of these emotions and thoughts and ideas inside? And that can be something practical, and we can find articles to link and do some quick research on the points of why we as humans need to share things. But also, it can be the idea that we can't actually grow as a society if we don't share ideas. So talking to kids about why we want to share these things, and even to some extent why we need to share them. And that can be something as deep as, if we're going through some mental health issues, that it's important to share them, that we actually might need to share them. Or something as small as you find something you really enjoy, or you love a TikTok video and you want to just share it with your friends. So those are important questions to talk about with our kids. Then the question becomes the how of communication. And why I like this activity is that it gets kids to think about the fact that there are lots of different ways to communicate their ideas and their thoughts and their emotions. And so we want them to brainstorm on this left-hand column the different forms of communication. So for instance, they can have an in-person conversation. They can post something on TikTok. They can join a video game where other students or other friends are on the game with them. But there are lots of different ways to communicate. And we want to get kids to think about, how do they like the different ways to communicate? And we want to try to push kids to put writing somewhere on this list, and to have them tell us how much or how little they enjoy writing. Finally, we get into a group brainstorm and discussion. And this is where we try to convince kids that it's important to just think about writing as one way to share what they think and feel. And we want them to think about why it is the method that schools are going to focus so much on, right? It's not random that we've picked writing. It's permanence in society. It's historical value in being a way to share ideas, right? There's a practicality to writing being a way to put down ideas and having others at a later time, at a later place, be able to access those ideas. We can talk with kids about whether it will be their favorite way, and maybe it won't, and that's fine. So the next thing, and this is kind of where the bulk of the doing will be for kids, is to choose one thought, idea, opinion, or emotion from the first page that they listed and think about if they wanted to share that with the world, how could they do it? They could do anything from creating a collage to a piece of art to a poem to a piece of writing, and to get them to think about writing as more than just a school assignment. So the final lesson down here, to really have kids remember that writing is not just a school assignment. It's a way to share your brilliance with the world, and it's not the only way. Just because the hammer isn't your favorite tool doesn't mean that you should toss it out of the toolbox. And that's kind of one way I think we can talk to kids about writing and convince them, or to convince themselves, that writing is a really good method of communication.